In the first 3 months of 2023, I trained for and raced my fastest marathon to date, an 8.5 minute PR. As everybody on Strava and Instagram keeps asking me, what's next? I don't know. Well, I do know what's happening this weekend. I am racing a half marathon in the suburbs of Chicago, Schaumburg to be specific, Chicagoland Half Marathon. And Shua is racing it too. You remember Shua? He trained for this. If you follow me on Strava, you know that I haven't been running nearly as much as I was the first 3 months this year, and part of that is just to mitigate getting injured after a hard marathon effort, trying to relax, trying to recover, but I also had an elective surgery that made me rest for a week.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
Since that week off, I put in a 30+ mile week, feel pretty good about that, and have a small little taper before I go and race this weekend. I ran this race last year, I got a 1:25:38. I went out super hard to see if I could maintain that pace. I couldn't. I bonked super hard in the second half, but it was still good enough for 6th place. Considering I ran my half split at Carmel 3 weeks ago at 1:24:32, I'm pretty sure I could do better than my effort last year, and I'm still carrying a ton of that shape into this race, even though I had a couple weeks of rest. Honestly, I'll be really happy with anything under 121, but I'm really gunning for that sub 120 and maybe even top 3. It's not the biggest deal in the world. I do plan on bringing a little action cam to let you guys in on the ride and hopefully do a race vlog about that. See how I do. All right, you might have clicked on this video because you want to see what's next. What am I going to do this summer into the fall? My plan for this summer is race the 5K and 10K distance. And then towards the end of the summer, race a half marathon or 2, and then race the marathon again in the fall. So let's go over all of my soft goals I have for myself. Is that a good adjective? Soft. This is what I'm thinking as of now. In the 5K, I'm hoping for a sub 16-minute, 30-second effort, which is very scary. That's 5:18 per mile and 3:17 per kilometer. I don't think I've ever really truly raced a 5K, so I have no idea how close I'll even get to that on the first attempt. I'm assuming I'll be in the low to mid 17s and work my way down, maybe through a couple races or time trials on my own. Next, 10K. I did do a 10K time trial right before I raced Carmel Marathon, about 2 or 3 weeks before. I was in pretty good shape, and I wasn't expecting to go under 36 that day, but I did, 35:59 in a self-paced time trial. I feel like in a race environment, I could do much better than that, especially with some training. So my goal for the 10K is sub 34 minutes and 40 seconds, which is 5 minutes, 35 seconds per mile, or 3 minutes, 28 seconds per kilometer. You already heard my goals for what the half marathon will be this weekend, hopefully under 120. All these goals are by the end of the year, hoping to get, but I'd really love to go under an hour and 18 minutes in the half marathon, which is 5:57 per mile pace and 3:41 per kilometer. Also very scary, dipping under the 6 minute per mile pace. I feel like I've never really comprehended being able to do that for that distance, but I did a little calculation on v.o2.com. It's quite a domain. And with my 10K time trial time, 35:59, it's saying that I should be able to do a half marathon in 1:19:32. So I'm thinking with a bit more training at middle distance, I should be able to crack 1:18. And finally, the one everyone's been waiting for, what's my next marathon goal? As you've seen on the channel this fall into this spring, I finally cracked 3 hours in October last fall at Chicago, and I cracked the sub 250 goal at Carmel in April. So I'm gonna be going for that Olympic qualifying standard time, under 2 hours and 18 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, but for real, I've been going back and forth on what I want this goal to be, and I feel like the easy thing to say would be 2:45. I want to scare myself and challenge myself again, and right now I'm gonna set it at 2:42. And we are like 5 months removed from racing Chicago, and a lot can happen in between now and then. So I don't want to set it as the definitive goal, but that's what I have my eyes set on. And honestly, if this summer goes really, really well, I might adjust that down to sub 240 for my goal, which is horrifying. Sub 242 is 6:11 mile pace and 350 kilometer pace, but I know that sub 240 is 6:06 mile pace, 6:05, 6:06 mile pace, 3:47 per kilometer. Honestly, more than anything, in my home race in Chicago, I would love to just be running way further up than I normally do in a pack that might be a lot smaller, a lot less dense. I've really only run Chicago where there's a lot of people around me going for that 3-hour barrier. So I feel like it'd be pretty cool to be out and a lot more alone with still some competitive runners around me in that 240-something mark. It's horrifying and exciting, but we'll see. So what are the definitive things I'm already signed up for? Nothing except one race. I am only officially signed up for CIM in December in Sacramento, which might be a fail-safe or a safety net from Chicago if Chicago doesn't go well. But I'm even toying with the idea of that because I don't want the psychological impact of Chicago being ruined knowing that I have a second chance in Sacramento. So I just don't know. I signed up for it and we'll see. I do plan on running Chicago and I'm probably gonna have to go through charity again, but if any of you guys know of a bib that's available or know of any brands or work with a brand that can hook a friend up with a bib, that'd be pretty cool. I'd love to chat. You could contact me here. Otherwise, I plan on doing it the 5th time through charity. At that point, I'll be a legacy runner in Chicago because I've run it 5 times in the last 10 years. As long as I maintain the amount of times being 5 times in the last 10 years, I could run Chicago whenever I want, which would be pretty fun to do every year, even if it's just an easy effort. But Chicago is the race I will definitively do, and that is where I'm gonna go after that 2:42 marathon. Heard it here first, folks. 2:42, holy crap. So if I'm racing the 5K and 10K distances this summer, which I plan on doing because I'm saying it here, please let me know in the comments if there are any races in the Midwest or really close to Chicago that I could sign up for between the months of May and September. I would also love to sign up for a half marathon in August, early September, to be right in the middle of that training block leading up to Chicago. See if I can crack that 118. I'm very nervous about all this and all this goal setting, but I know if I don't set these hard goals and make good solid goals with distances in mind, I'm just gonna wander aimlessly and not have any plan. So here I am. I've set scary goals the past 6 months on this channel and made them public, and it's kept me accountable. So there we go again. As the Brits say, see how I get on. That's how the British runners say it. Like, get chuffed, crack on, get stuck in.